Hey, let's do another 12 weeks to peak video. I'm still here in Virginia without my nice studio. So we'll have to put up with the bad sound and the bad background, but content is what is most important, right? So I encourage you to sign up for Wes Schaefer's 12 weeks to peak program, wesschaefer.com/12W. It's a free program, so old Jason doesn't make any money from it. It's just something that has worked for me, and it'll work for you if you use it, if you do it. If you're a salesperson or a company president who has to reach out and talk to people to boost the sales, then you should be a part of that. And that's why I'm making these videos because it's part of the daily things that you could do. All right, today I want to talk about budget. And some people are going to roll their eyes. Go, God, he talks about budget all the time. It's one of the three basic things, right? Need, budget, personality fit, necessary for qualifying a prospective customer or client. And probably feel you already know everything about it, right? We check for the number and do they have the money tolerance in the number? Yeah. That's like the most basic way of doing it. And that's why I teach that stuff publicly. I don't teach the higher level stuff publicly. I teach it privately in consulting sessions, or you got to buy Sales on Fire and get into like, module 3. So we're gonna break that though and talk about it a little bit today. And actually, I mentioned this in a post on salestactics.org way back in 2014. You can go back there and find it. It's not a new idea. Okay. Here it is. The thing that you need to like iron into your brain. The budget, the prospect's budget is not created by the prospect. Prospect's budget is created by you, salesperson. Now roll that around for a while. Bring money tolerance into it. Hmm. How hard have you been standing on the brakes of your own sales because of your own money tolerance? You don't know what that person believes. You don't know what that person's money tolerance is. And I'll tell you something, as a guy who sells things to presidents of companies of like 50 to 500 people all the time, they have a money tolerance that's higher than mine. So you think your customers might have a higher money tolerance than you of what they're comfortable with in terms of a dollar figure? It's like, oh yeah, okay. And you're freaking out. It's a thing. It's a thing, and I caution you to really consider it. And that's why I made that video about raising your money tolerance and started talking about like the process of how do I open up my mind and decide like what's the highest, best thing that I could do right now that would give the biggest impact to my clientele, my ideal client, who has the most money, who is probably running the best business, who is fueled by the amount of money that they can pay you some and go, okay, no big deal to them. To you, it's probably more money than you've ever seen in your life. It's happened to me. You say a number, they say yes, comes in your bank account. I take screenshots my bank account when these plateaus happen, right? Damn, never seen that much in there. I can go just as quickly. I remember a time when we were running the closing engine and like we had 60 grand in the bank and it was payday and it's gone, gone. I paid everybody out and it was gone in minutes. That's not so fun unless you know that that money's coming back. So that's not even a lot of money. It's just the time I remember it. It's a bigger number than most people have seen in their bank accounts and whatever. So again, the budget is created in the mind of the salesperson. Okay. The whole sale is actually created in the mind of the salesperson. And then you must communicate it out across to your prospect and have that idea duplicated inside their mind. Now, it sure is a lot easier when that prospect has been sitting there stewing in their problem, being aware of it, mulling over possible solutions, and coming up with something kind of sort of maybe like yours. and they already have the framework of a half-baked idea in there that's similar to what you provide. Oh man, just slide right in there. Give me the money, you'll get that. Oh, I already wanted that. The Challenger sale, right? Heard of the Challenger sale. The deal there is surprise them with the valuable insight, right? Surprise them with an idea that is extremely helpful to them that they probably haven't considered. Oh, yeah, damn. That idea, that structure, or that concept really is a good fit for solving my problem. I had no idea that existed. Listen, watch guy. This is a gosh, that camera's crappy. It's upside down. It's a Seiko Grand Orient, something like that. It's a relatively cheap watch, under $200. Um, and it doesn't really do anything. I opted to go for the quartz version this time, because all I wanted was the look. And if you ever get into automatic watches, the ones you have to wind every day, they are a pain in the ass. It's like a garden. You're gardening in here, you know. Um, and I went into uh, the watch shop to get a bracelet properly sized, for the most expensive watch that I own, which had an MSRP of like $1,895 or something like that. I didn't pay that much for it, but that's the level we're at where I can consider that. And I've got the tools to do the bracelet change and that, but this one, I'm looking at it right now. It's in this travel case. I bring like five, six watches with me. One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah. Wherever I go, because I bought this little Merce for it. And I didn't trust myself to work on it without scratching it or something like that. It wasn't the links don't look the same as a normal um watch bracelet. So I had them do it, and he noticed, he flips it over and there's a opening in the back for you to see the innards. And from my Seiko Kinetic watch, which is one of my favorite watches, again, not very expensive, but I just love the look. I know that this is the kind of watch that charges when you wave, swing your hand, right? In the motions of every day, as long as you're not sitting there at a desk and that's the only thing you're doing, we'll charge it because there's a little thing that spins back and forth and that gives the energy into the spring. So this watch had that. He noticed it and he said, "Hey, have you are you would you be interested in can't even remember what it's called, but it's like a machine that does this for you." It's a self-winding or a watch machine, right? So it's a box, very nice wood, and it's got a button on the front and a hole and kind of a thing like this that you wrap the watch around and you pop that in there and you push the button and it actually has a program in there that like a washing machine that kind of spins the watch around, right? And these things are like if you want one that'll do two, it's $250 or $300 or something like that. And that was over my money tolerance for a trinket for a couple of watches, right, that I've got. But for one, it was 100 and something, and I was like, okay, you know, there's an example of a Challenger sale. Okay, I had no idea the thing existed. It solves a problem. You just plug that thing in at night, and it flips it around, and then it waits for half an hour, and then it flips it around some more. Um, that charges your watch, right? So so you don't have to wind it, and then I can swap out the watches every night when I'm there, and keep them going without me having to sit there and hand wind them every day or something like that. So there's an example of a Challenger sale. Now I had no idea that these things existed. I had no idea the price. I didn't like the price. I still don't to some degree. I'm like 100 something for a machine that twists your watch around, really. But it does solve a problem. And I went from not knowing, being totally ignorant about this thing, to buying one in about 3 minutes. And I told the guy, look, you did a great job as a salesperson there and advising me of something I didn't even know existed, right? I didn't get into the details of how it worked because it would have, bored him and he probably would have been startled by the depth of explanation, not seeing himself as a salesperson. He's a watch guy, right? So that was kind of funny. But there's an example of a Challenger sale, right? And it was an easy sale. I had the money and I had the problem and this was a nifty solution, and it's interesting. So now I got this box that flips my watches around at night. Um, so when it comes to whatever it is that you're selling, whether it's a car or a website or a sign or something like that, odds are that prospect has no freaking clue, just none, what this thing should cost. Okay, they may have a ballpark. Cars, like, you know, I don't know, but there's a lot of variability there. There's a lot of elasticity, you know. And something like a sign, like a routered sign out of wood that's painted, right? Maybe with metal letters or a metal frame or something like that. Like, what does that cost? I have no idea. I could charge $6,000 for it. I could charge $12,000 for it. And if we make it any bigger, and it's for a Hard Rock Cafe, and I need white glove transportation for it, man, I'm gonna charge a lot more. Because if you ding that thing up and I have to fix it, it's odds are I'm not going to be able to go to you and say I need you to pay me again, right? Unless the whole thing is totally destroyed. So I want that insurance there, right? So that budget figure comes from the salesperson's mind, your idea of what it should be. And then we go back again to money tolerance and how comfortable are you with that belief? After a while, you get annoyed. Trust me, I'm annoyed about all the people, and nothing against them personally, but all the people that I served for so cheap for so many years. Good for them. Might not, I don't know. Did they even appreciate it? Some of them did. Some of them did. But a lot just bought the thing and never even opened the package, right? So, or had a session with me and blah blah blah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I talked to them. Oh yeah, they feel good to get the dopamine for the hour and a half or 3 hours or whatever it is, and then they're on their way. Oh, okay, that's not what I want as an impact, right? To see, I'm not too thrilled about that. So it's more fun to work with higher budgets and bigger projects where you see the impact of what you're doing. Now, big companies can be terrible too. They can. They can be very slow to decide, even if they have the money and an executive team that wants to do something. I've seen this a lot where making decisions still takes 2 months. And you're like, guys, you said this was a top priority for you. You said repeatedly that you want to do this, that I've given you the options for how to do it. So that's a separate thing though from budget, right? That's the decision making process and uncovering that. Um, but first we need to know, yeah, they're comfortable with this investment. So again, remember that when it comes to most things, the prospect has no clue what this thing is worth, and it's probably worth a lot more to you or to them than you think. I can tell you. I mean, I recently got annoyed at just doing grocery shopping. I'm like, I'm getting this for like $100. That's it? Like 12 items? The hell happened? Right? And I thought I need to raise my rates. And so I did. Like, it's not okay. It is not okay that I get nickel and dimed when all these things just to live are expensive, right? And like before that, let me tell you, groceries were the lowest thing on my mind. They were the thing I cared about the least. Any meal that I eat at home is saved money for me, okay? In fact, I should probably start getting one of those meal delivery services, but I'm just not there enough, consistently enough, and I'd have meals pile up in the fridge and stuff. So that's a reason to hold off right now. But it would save me some time in shopping and prep and stuff like that. Anyway, point being, you you are the decision maker about what it costs. Now, if you're up against a professional purchasing department, yeah, they went to school and took the classes I did in the operations management program about how to bracket, right, and tie people down and use this guy against that guy, and yeah, you need to decide whether you want to get into that game or not. It's not a game that I play. If I detect that kind of constriction, I'm out. I'm out. That doesn't match with the way that I do deals, right? And I said in the money tolerance video most recently. The relationships, personal relationships with company presidents who just say yes, do it, is where I go. Which is again why I stay away from government contracts, and it probably didn't fit in very well there, because it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Not that I mind a process or something like that. Right? I did very well with grant applications. I can write you a great grant application and get it funded, but that just became not worth my time after a while. But anyway, it's just stuff to think about. Again, I like to walk around a topic and look at it from different directions. So you come up with the dollar amount, the investment to work with you, right? And they're going to ask you, why is this valuable? And if you're not prepared for that, you're going to get rattled. It's happened to me. Okay. Where I was given a thing to quote to a customer from somebody I was working for, and I thought it would just be a lay down, and instead they pushed back at me, and I wasn't ready. I didn't have the technical knowledge to justify whatever it was that we were doing, and not against anybody else. You understand? Not against a competitor, just the dollar amount. Why? And they needed to hear about this, that, and the other thing, right? And so once I learned about those things, I could do the song and dance that they needed, right? But that's an area that you'll probably have to get into. I suspect you probably know something about the thing that you're selling, though, right? If you're an SEO expert, you probably know why and how good SEO works, right? Um, how do you build that into web design and copywriting and things like that? Okay. As usual, I always talk for too long. You stick a microphone in my face, I can't help but talk for at least 6 minutes. Longer than that here, I'm sure. Um, but leave a like. If it's your first time here and you want interesting perspectives on sales that other people aren't going to talk about because they're just regurgitating the same old stuff. I've been doing this for 25 plus years, um, and studying and teaching and being a trainer since 2010, right? So that's 15 years right there at this point, which means I take it more seriously than most people, right? So I've got a lot to share that isn't, off the rack kind of stuff, perspectives that will help you. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you have a question about what I talked about, or about some other sales topic, leave a comment below. Let me know, and it'll guide me to making future videos. I'd much rather respond to a question somebody has than just try and come up with something that I hope you'll be interested in, right? So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.